Oh, yeah, not for me today. I live outside the city.
As soon as I get off work, I know I have to go to my precinct, and I've got.
You didn't get your little sticker?
They were not open at 3 a.m. this morning when I woke up.
And you didn't do early voting?
I didn't.
Yeah, and early voting, really low turnout, like 5%?
Yeah, under 5%. So, I mean, they're thinking that for everything, once you count early voting and once you count today's, it'll probably be under 10%, which is abysmal. As one professor told me last week, because when you think about it, these are like our local leaders who make decisions that impact a lot of what we do.
Why do you think it is? Because, like you said, these are so important. They affect your community, where you live, your kids, everything. But I mean, they're not like presidential elections. Yeah. People just don't seem to pay as much attention to these local elections, unfortunately.
Here's the rough thing is that usually Charlotte City races are in odd years, like in 2019, 2021, usually. But as we've mentioned on the air several times, last year's was delayed to this year. So for one, it was a year that we usually don't vote in. And then because of lawsuits involving redistricting, it was delayed a couple of times. So we never in the city of Charlotte vote in July.
Right. It's just people are like, what's happening?
People are on vacation.
I'm on vacation.
People don't care. People are tuned out. So that's one of the reasons they think voter turnout is so low. Let us know, do you plan on voting today? Because it's not just Charlotte. There's folks in Hickory, Mooresville also head to the polls to pick their new leaders. It comes after those delayed census numbers we mentioned from last year.
So here in Charlotte, several races are on the ballot, including mayor and all the city council races. We'll talk more about that coming up. But first, Wake Up Charlotte's Tradisha Woodard joins us now from Uptown. And Tradisha, the polls are open. Are you seeing people coming in and out voting?
Well, you know, Sarah, we've been sitting out here for a couple of hours. I've seen a few people trickle in, not a huge crowd. But I want to also tone in kind of on not necessarily where to vote, but who can vote, because there is a lot of people who came out and voted early and were able to do same-day registration and also cast their ballot. But obviously, this is different. Election officials say you need to make sure you're registered at least 30 days prior. Yeah. So if you have any questions on where to cast your ballot, where your precinct is, because you can't go to any polling location today, right? So you want to make sure you go to the correct location that is in your area. If you have any questions, you want to look at a sample ballot, you can log on to our website at WCNC.com. We have lots of links to help you with this process. Reporting live in Uptown, Tradisha Woodard, Wake Up to Go.
All right, Tradisha, thanks. Tradisha makes a great point that sometimes people forget, because early voting, they've made it so convenient that we can go to so many places that if you wait till actual election day, you have to actually go to your precinct. You can't just go anywhere, and people forget that sometimes. She mentioned it, but also I put it on my Facebook and Twitter, a quick link. You can put your address and tells you exactly where to go.
Makes it so easy. And the digital team underneath in the comments here, they've placed a link to our website that answers a lot of those questions that people have. Because, you know, in South Carolina, you need an ID. North Carolina, you don't today. So, and like Ben said, where exactly to go. Now, Larry Sprinkle, how's that forecast?
You get blamed a lot of times if the turnout's not great.
You don't want to go vote in the rain.
No excuses today.
That's right.
Okay, good.
You can always use heat and humidity, but not really. Most of the day should be okay. In fact, hour by hour, take a look at it. 8 o'clock this morning, you're voting at the moment. In the mid-70s, noontime, a lot of people vote around lunch.
I'll be there.
And, in fact, look for Ben, and you'll tell us where you're going to be.
That's right.
In low 90s, around 3 o'clock, slight chance of storms at that time. It's just going to be hot and humid. I think at the end, it's up until 7 o'clock this evening, right?
7:30.
7:30. 7:30. So 7 o'clock, it's going to be 81 with a chance of storms. I think best time between now and, say, 6 o'clock this evening.
And Ben, you've been talking about this on Flashpoint too a lot, and you said like District 6 could really see some change here.
Well, we talk about it all the time, like on Wake Up Charlotte to Go as well, is that, you know, Charlotte is an increasingly blue city, you know, and the areas all around it are all
surrounded by red.
All red. And that's honestly the story of so many urban areas around the country, in North Carolina too. Asheville, blue as blue can get. All around it is red. Raleigh, blue as blue can get. And the red, that's like the sort of story of politics today. The interesting thing about Charlotte is that District 6, which has been typically Republican, we're talking about
Tark-Picari.
Tark-Picari holds the seat now. We're talking about South Park, Myers Park, parts of South Charlotte. has been Republican for years, going back. Kenny Smith was before this, Andy Doolin before that. But in recent years has started to shift more Democratic, like the rest of the city. So it'll be interesting to see of all the races, because we're not expecting any big upsets. Maybe there will be. You never know. But I think that's probably the race most people in Charlotte are watching, because if that happens, and assuming all the other seats stay as they are blue, that means we'll have 10 Democrats on city council and 1 Republican, which is...
I can't remember the last time that's happened.
I don't know that.
Or imbalance.
Yeah, I don't know. People criticize sometimes the General Assembly in Raleigh for being, one-party rule Republicans. Well, it's just the opposite now in Charlotte, which can, if I'm just being honest, create a lot of dysfunction because you have competing factions that against each other at state and local level. So
whether it's Democrat or Republican, if you're the lone whatever your party is, that's got to be a tough situation.
You're like on an island all by
yourself. I know, and it makes for tough governance as well, which is what we all want, good, effective governance. So let us know, do you plan to vote if you're a city or town, because there's a few of them having municipal elections today. Let us know, and then we'll see you back here tomorrow.